Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's combat report in which we are going to look at this SeaVixen, the first video that I am going to record on my new setup. I have a new headset, new microphone, new computer, newly installed Windows 10 Pro, newly installed Movie Studio 17 instead of the old 13 that I was using, newly installed OBS Studios, all the settings renewed. So god damn, that was a lot of work. I spent an evening, a whole day, and a morning to set everything up. Now I think I'm ready to record, so I'm gonna try it with this video. Hopefully the new microphone will not give you a whole new idea of my voice, which after 6 years of the old microphone. But anyway, they're both Razer headset, the same line. The other one is just an older one, so we're gonna see what all that is gonna do. The SeaVixen, let's look at it. It is, of course, a fantastic climber. It has, I think it's red top missiles, 4 of them. It has no internal gun, so you're going to be fully reliant on the missiles. And of course, the old footage from the old review that we did. These days, it might be a slightly different battle rating, it might be a slightly different setup, but in the old days, as I was flying it here, it was very consistent and very reliable. It has 4 missiles. It doesn't have an internal gun, as I said. So you're gonna have to set that up accordingly. You don't want to take head-ons, as this guy is going to do. So you're gonna have to roll out and just move on like nothing happened. Keep the speed up and reset on another opponent. You just got the missiles to rely on. So you cannot go for head-ons. You cannot go for anything resembling a dogfight or anything, because in close range with a lot of movement you're gonna pull Gs, and when you have those Gs you have an overload for launching missiles. So usually when you're maneuvering a lot you cannot fire the missiles. You gotta be the stable platform to fire those things, like here, and taking out a Seahawk there. But yeah, so there is some ups and some downs for this plane that you're gonna have to watch, and we try to do that as much as possible. The distance where I shot this missile might have been a little bit too far, because it gives over 2 kilometers, gives the enemy plane a chance to respond and to move out of the way of your missile, and you cannot back that up with a gun, with a cannon. So you're gonna make sure that you fire those missiles at the ideal range with the ideal setup, hopefully, because you gotta make them missiles count. That being said, I must say that while I was flying it out, I was really enthusiastic about the SeaVixen, because it really surprised me. It was one of the first planes, maybe even the first plane that I flew that did not have a built-in gun. So some kind of gun setup where I could rely on a gun after I messed up my missiles. Well, I don't always mess up missiles, but I'm still not flying jets enough to be fully proficient and always know the right setup, the right lead for the missiles, right? You wanna set up for the right lead for your missile. There's also something I learned along the way, where with a gun lead you need to position your plane just so that you can, hit the target. And with missiles, it's also very beneficial to lead the target that leads to where it's going, to put the missile lock on the very end of where it should be. So when it's red, you want to move the plane as much in the line of the plane where it's going to be, so that the missile, it doesn't have to turn that angle. You already give it that lead. So it has to turn less of the way. And I mean, red tops are great. You saw this ME-163 was really turning, and ME-163s can turn really nicely. But because I was leading it a little bit, the missile didn't have to already use some of its turn capabilities to fill that gap, to adjust for that turn. It only had to do that slightly, and thus it could reach the target. But yeah, red top missiles are quite good, but the least maneuverable your missiles are, the more you're gonna have to lead. The lead is gonna be important, let's say that. I love the look of the SeaVixen, by the way, now that I'm looking at it again after such a long time, I do like this plane. It's a bit of a weird duck, of course. I mean, it has a co-pilot or whatever he's doing. Probably in the review, I had a more pronounced opinion on what that guy was doing there, but you've got Nigel with you. Hey, there is that, and you can only look through the roof, so it's kind of awkward position for that guy. I wouldn't want to be that guy. I just want to be the guy flying. But all in all, I love the Sea Vixen. It's a great looking plane. And as you see, with that climb rate, those two big ass engines in the belly of the plane there, you're gonna always be able to get to the altitude you need, and to make sure that you get in a position where you can approach planes, and you can definitely. Here we go. Finally, that missile did hit. Those missiles do have a range. I'm not exactly sure from the top of my head what the range was, but I shot that first missile before the second one. The second one hit first, and after a while, the first ones indeed finally hit the target that I was aiming at. So yeah, it can be quite efficient, but as I said, the longer distances you give, the more opportunity for rolling away from that missiles you give people. So yeah, I hear these days with the more modern missiles, even better missiles, it's going to be even more problematic to get out of way. You even have front facing or front rear, uh, front aspect missiles. Jesus Christ, I I really had to find that word. Bloody hell. But as you see here, I'm pulling 6Gs and my load factor is too high, so I cannot shoot the missile there. That's also always something you want to take into account. That can be a problem when you're facing planes that are not too far away from you and who are making evasive maneuvers. You're gonna have to follow. It's gonna be difficult to shoot those missiles from that close of a range. So you want to get somewhere a kilometer and a half between a kilometer and a kilometer and a half of distance are ideal shooting ranges for missiles, as it gives a very small window for the enemy pilot to respond, and especially in situations like this with the MiG-15 here in the J2, who are focusing on somebody else, two other Sea Vixens as you see, they're gonna have very little time to respond, and that's always good. That's what you want to have with these missiles. But yeah, but the performance of the plane is absolutely staggering with the two engines, the thrust that you have. You're going to be the highest plane pretty much all the time, and that gives you the opportunity to set the plane up as you need to, because the SeaVixen does need setting up. You can't just go in there and do whatever, um, because that's going to be problematic in the end. You don't want to get into people's gun ranges and stuff like that, and you're not able to shoot back in. Maneuvering fights. So you want to come from altitude, keep the speed up, run out again, and reset the plane for another approach like this, where you just get your kills, and you want to ideally get at least 2 or 3 kills per uh, reset, basically per landing. You've got 4 missiles and you want to make them count, because you do not have any guns to rely on, and get back to base. Reset's always possible, of course. You can belly land the plane if I remember correctly. Not too difficult, so quick landing, up you go back into the sky with 4 new ones. Although I guess it doesn't always end that way. Most of the time probably it won't end that way, because, well, you know, people get killed. And if you can get 3 kills, it's already a lot in jet matches. 3, 4. But I mean, the matches where you get 5, 6 or 7, it's gonna be limited because of all those missiles that are flying around. Lovely to see that in the snow, very visible how the missile moves towards that target. But yeah, those red top missiles are quite good indeed. The Vixen experience, man. Yeah, it's definitely awesome. Now, we didn't have visual on these guys, but I knew they were flying somewhere near their airfield there, and we do see one over here. So we're gonna make that approach and see if we can get a missile off. We're coming out of the sky, coming out of the sky, Jesus Christ. We're coming out of the clouds here. This is low altitude. It's an IL-28. So we're gonna approach here, shoot off the missile. It was a little bit far again, 2.28 kilometers distance, but it still easily gets it. The guy doesn't even move. I guess he just came off the airfield. He didn't see anybody, so he thought he had time. Maybe he was even AFK. Who knows? You never know what people do. Maybe he is one of those people that listen to music while they're playing. He could not hear the warning sounds that a missile was approaching. So who knows why he didn't respond. We have two other dots there. If you can see there in the middle of that cloud section, we saw two dots moving. We're gonna move on the first one here, who is moving on our left wingtip right below that cloud over there. And again, coming from above, ideal for the SeaVixen. This is our last missile here, as you see. So we gotta make it count, but it is now behind the cloud and I cannot see it yet. And only now does it come in. And yeah, we're late. We're shooting, and I mean this is an indication that I don't fly jets, missile age range jets a lot, because a more experienced pilot would have held off shooting there, known it was not the right lead, and would have saved that missile. Anyway, we good fun in the SeaVixen, and I want to revisit that plane going through the British line. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. This was my first one after. Let's see if it comes out right and if you can enjoy it and if everything, all the qualities correct. Let's see. I hope so. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.